So, and there was a club called Doc Severinsen's, and
which was right there, just north of Reno and Meridian, right?
Yes, it's Cimarron Steakhouse now, and Doc Severinsen's was a really high end club that it was a supper club.
And how many of these? He owned several of these. He owned several. He owned several of these across the country, right?
Yes, at the time he did. He was pretty popular. He was also on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and he was from Oklahoma, and so he had this nightclub and everything. Well, we had Larry Schaefer of Little Wing we wanted to do a show, and David Huff introduced us to Larry, and Larry said, "Yeah, I got a show for you, some band named Warrant." And so we took this band Warrant, not knowing about anything, and selling tickets, getting it together. And so as the show came, the day of the show, the band Warrant, their song Heaven, went to number one. It was one of these things that you dream about.
When it happens, it happens.
And when it happens, you don't ever want the day to end or the night. And what happened that night was, it was so crazy that it was sold out. It was pandemonium. It was everything you could ever imagine in the 80s. This was like right at the 90s. But Oklahoma's always been behind. And, the band was just, it was crazy. Things were said that day that, you really learned what rock and roll was all about. Sleazy rock and roll. And the girls didn't care. But, it was like us taking candy from kids, the money that came in that day, and it was like, you talk about beginner's luck. It's like winning the biggest jackpot at a casino. You're hooked for life. And that's what it took, was one hit. And we all, hey, here I am, a dude with no money, but I have the knowledge to run the show.
How many shows did you guys do at Doc's?
At Doc's, we did probably 5. We did. I got the tickets right here. I know that the Mr. Big was one of them. Enough's Enough was another one. Ian Hunter and Mick Ronson.
Because I knew about Doc's because of the video show that was on television, the live music show that they did on TV that was on here locally. And I knew one of the guys that worked on that show. I worked with him in radio in another market, and so he always told me about this club called Doc's, and all the cool bands that he got to see that came through. But I didn't realize that you booked shows there as well.
Yes, we were at the tail end of it. There was one KJ put on here, an evening we did an evening with Michael Damian, whoever that is.
That was a guy from Young and the Restless.
Yes. So he didn't do so hot.
No?
But the thing about Doc's, and back to the Warrant show, is we were stagehands, security, box office, runner, caterer, all of that. This little group that we had, Knockout Productions, and so there's a video somewhere running around that people taped of, and he's on, Janie Lane's on my shoulders out in the crowd. So and like I said, there's things that come along in your life that hook you. Whether it's drugs, money, music, whatever, love, and that night hooked me.